The dust seems to have settled at Cornwall Hill College in Irene, that's in the capital. It's also after parents and learners in May protested against alleged racism at that school. The Human Rights Commission has now launched an investigation into those complaints. For an update, let's bring in our reporter, Tshegohaco Moagi, who is live to us now from the institution itself. And Tshegohaco, many of us won't forget that pupil who got up to a podium and literally broke down as she retold stories about ways through which she felt she was discriminated against because she was black. It appears perhaps things have gotten better?
Well, good morning, Ayanda. Absolutely. I mean, it was absolutely terrible and heartbreaking to hear that young girl stand up on that podium and speak about how she was discriminated against because of her hair or because of her skin color. It does seem that things have calmed down right here at Cornwall Hill College. But what the issue is, of course, Ayanda, is that something needs to happen following that protest. And this is what parents are also calling for, that it was not just a one-day protest, but something needs to develop from that particular protest. And joining me now is Alison Changana. She's a parent here at Cornwall Hill. Thank you so much for your time, Alison. Just give us details of what has transpired since that protest on the 31st of May.
Thanks. Well, I think beginning with, we've had a number of town halls, so the school management appointed a professional facilitator to help us through this journey. And we've had a number of town halls that were consultation sessions with the parents at each phase and grade. And I think those were important. I think for some white parents, they weren't aware of the kinds of discrimination that was going on and the kind of hurt and pain that was being caused. And so it opened eyes. I think it also became clear that there were some parents who have more racist tendencies at the school, and that we're going to need to work through that and go through a long journey. The other thing that happened was that we had alumni speak at a town hall, and it became very clear, and this was incredibly sad, that some of the discrimination, some of the teachers were still here after 10 years. So the alumni were saying, we've experienced this 5-10 years ago. Why is it still happening? Why hasn't it been addressed?
And of course, that protest really highlighted, I mean, we had that young girl who stood up and broke down for, just to describe what she has been through. And I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that even some of the parents, the white parents, were unaware of the discrimination that has taken place. But what transformation are you hoping to see here in the near future, hopefully?
I think it needs to be transformation at a whole number of levels. So we need to look at the leadership and the board and the school management. We need to look at diversifying the workforce. So right now there are very few black teachers and there's the petty teachers only. So that has to change. There needs to be diversity at all levels of management and staff so that black children can see themselves in the teachers. We also need to diversify the student body, the learners. We have black South Africans sitting at about 23-24% at every phase right now, and that needs to change. I think in addition, we need to change the culture at the school, the accountability, the way the teachers behave, the way race is dealt with in the classroom. We also need to look at extracurricular, co-curricular program. So how diverse is that? We would love to include soccer, dance, other kinds of activities than rugby and cricket only. And in addition, I think we also need to look at procurement. We need to look at the school as a business. And is it extending suppliers to a wide range, a diverse range, and not just the same set of suppliers?
Alison, in conversations that as parents you've had with the school management, what has been their response?
We're getting quite a bit of resistance from the school management, and we're failing to see the school management taking this on as an urgent issue, as an issue that requires a response that is unique and unlike any other school issue. So despite the fact that we had the protest, which I think was extraordinarily important, we haven't yet seen that urgency and commitment. There's words, but there isn't the kind of human leadership and bravery that I would love to see coming from the school leadership. To say, we see this is happening, this is horrible, it has to change.
Alison, the Human Rights Commission has also launched an investigation into this matter. Are there plans to have another such protest as what we saw on the 31st of May?
We don't have plans for another protest right now. We have met with the Human Rights Commission, and they are interested in doing an investigation, and we will work with the Human Rights Commission and with other social partners and groups as needed. But essentially, we do believe that it's possible for the school to change itself in working with allies as well.
Thank you so much, Alison Changana. She's a parent here, Ayanda. I'm really just speaking about what has transpired since that protest on the 31st of May. And in the next hour, we'll be speaking to the Human Rights Commission about their investigation into this matter.